Yeah, but I just started now recording, but it's all right. Yeah, we got a small garden in the back, and so we've planted jalapeños, green peppers, bell peppers, same thing. Um, my mom, she's got this Thai eggplants, so that's
Hmm.
planted back there too, and it's kind of cool because they start off purple and then they turn green with like kind of white pattern striping on the sides of them. It's so weird, but it's so cool. So we have that cucumbers, zucchini, some squash. As a harvest time is coming up real soon here. So, um, but yeah, no, that's what we got going on. Anyways, man.
Nice. Is your mom? I think she told me once, this was years ago. She said that she was a vegetarian. Does she continue with that?
No, she's not
Okay.
a vegetarian.
Okay. All right.
She never
She gave
was.
up.
Never
Okay. All right.
was.
Never was. Okay. All right.
Maybe she was doing like a thing where she's not eating meat for a period of time, but
Yeah.
nah, she's never been like a vegetarian.
Okay.
So I don't know where she got that from.
She told me, man, but maybe I mean that was years ago, so maybe I heard wrong. But
Nah, you're fine. It's all good.
okay.
So I was like, nah, she's not a vegetarian. Uh, it's
It's
cool.
like I saw her eat a big piece of steak the other day. Like, no.
Literally. No. Nah, so it's all good. Um, how are you today? Everything, going good and
Everything's
all that?
good. Yeah, it's Saturday, a day off. Got up, went to the worst place in the world. That's called the grocery store. But I go early in the morning because it's not as crowded as later in the afternoon, where you can barely move your cart and you're almost running into everybody, and nobody seems to know where they're going. So, yeah, did that. Went to the laundromat and just cleaned up my apartment. So, nothing too crazy. It's nice to be out of work for a few days. So, a couple of days. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this Saturday and Sunday. Yeah.
Hopefully that's not me chewing loud in the microphone.
Oh, I don't hear anything, man.
Oh, cool, perfect. That's it. Eating just jalapeno. Um, well, we've already started the podcast. Thank you for those who are tuning in just now. Sorry, as I drink some water. I'm eating a jalapeno. Um, no, this is not live or anything, but thank you for those who have chosen to listen to my history podcast because I'm your host, Alexander. This is my guest here, is a good friend of mine since high school. A lot of the guests on my podcast met them in high school or so forth. But these are great people that I've come to met and know and appreciate their time and appreciate what they've provided for me, whether it be like conversations or um, just hanging out, good friendship. So, anyways, today we have Carlos. Now, I don't want to mispronounce your name, but I've always said it's Carlos Abelar.
It's Avelar.
Abelar. Okay.
Yep. But you can call me whatever, man. It's never nobody pronounces it right, so it's cool.
I'm sure, because it's like, you got people who says Carlos Avalier.
Yeah, Avelar is the most common. Actually, it's
um,
funny because my full last name is Avelar Menendez, and
mm,
that happens because where I was born in Guatemala, you have four names, and your mom's maiden name is your fourth name. When I came to the States, they kind of grabbed those two names and squished them together. So my last name legally is Avelar Menendez. But I just to simplify it, wherever I go, I just let them know it's Carlos Avelar
okay. So, your mother's maiden name is Mendez?
Menendez. Yep,
Menendez. Oh, okay. No, I didn't
yep.
know that. That's cool. And you said it was from where?
I'm from Guatemala. I'm from
Oh,
Guatemala. So
okay. I had thought it was Ecuador
close.
long ago.
Good job. Good job for actually getting it close this time. So yeah, I tell people I'm from Guatemala. They're like looking at a map of Asia and they're like, "Where's that at?" I'm like, y'all didn't take geography.
Map of Asia. That's pretty bad.
They're like, "Let's spin the globe." Like, no, no, spin it back, spin it back. You know?
Right, right. Um, Hey, when did you come into the States, I guess?
So I came at age 5. I did kindergarten in Guatemala, which I'm happy I did. But those were my last memories there. But I came to Michigan at age 5. We lived in the suburb of Detroit called Redford. Don't know
Oh
if you've
yeah.
heard of that.
Yeah,
You've
Redford.
heard of
Yeah, yeah.
Redford.
Yeah. Driven
So
through there
Redford.
plenty of times.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, not a whole lot of people know that place. They know Livonia. They know Farmington Hills. You know that those kinds of
Yeah.
places. Even Canton. But no, I lived in we lived in Redford for a while with my parents. My dad is a computer programmer, and he was able to find a job there in Canton. So he would drive back and forth from Canton, which is far from Redford.
Hmm.
We lived there for 5 years. So I went to Redford Union Public Schools, and then we met this guy who was a missionary. We saw him again. He was a missionary in Guatemala, and he moved back to his hometown of Reed City up North Michigan. And for many reasons, we decided to leave Detroit and we moved to Reed City, which is an hour north of Grand Rapids, be about 15 minutes north of Big Rapids, which is like where Fair State University is at. And I lived out there for a couple of years. So, yeah, about 2.5 years I lived out in the boonies, out in the middle of the country, town of maybe 2,500 people. So, went there for a little while. And then, my dad found a job in Jackson, Michigan. So then that's when we moved to Lansing. And that was back in eighth grade, and little after I started school there at Waverly, that's when you came in, like maybe a month afterwards. It was what year was it? I think 2007. That must have been earlier than that.
Probably. I am
No, it
not.
was just yeah,
I am not. 100, no, you're right. I think you're right. Yeah, 2007, 2008. Because I
yeah.
moved from my middle school to the Waverly Middle School a little bit before that, probably. Yeah, somewhere close enough. Anyway, but okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Just Redford, Canton, Livonia, as you had said, Southfield,
Hmm.
Royal Oak. I like Royal Oak. I think everybody likes Royal Oak. Think what was it? A friend of mine. He lives or has lived out of Canton. A couple
Okay.
people that I know. So yeah, I'm not unfamiliar, but
Oh, that's
where
good. That's
where
good. Yeah.
direction wise exactly, I'm not sure because it's all like it's all a mish, there. But I know I've driven through it or been around it. My uncle lives just on the outside of Southfield, or just entering into Southfield, I should say. But all right, cool. So you still have like the accent a little bit, so that's kind of cool in a sense of like not losing. I guess in the way I look at it, like not losing the grounds of your culture, or in a way like you have it just a natural like accent because you say you were there since 5 and then moved out. So
Yeah, I mean, we spoke Spanish at home
okay.
all the time. Like that's one thing that my parents were always like, "Hey, you're gonna learn English in school.
Hmm.
If we don't speak Spanish at home, you're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose it. They won't lose it because they came in, what, they were 35, 36 or whatever
Right.
when. So I mean, but you would lose it, and it would be very very beneficiary to you to continue speaking Spanish because it just makes it easier in the job market. You're wanted more if you're bilingual, especially if it's a language that is used by whatever organization they want to hire you from. So yeah, we always spoke Spanish at home. Every time speak to my parents, whether on the phone or if I see them, it's always in Spanish. So yeah, that's probably why I still have the accent, and maybe if we would have decided to only speak English at home, I would have lost it, but I would also lost Spanish as well.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. That's actually really cool. 'Cause a lot of people, you probably know, there's a lot of people aren't bilingual in America. It's just like a two course requirement for graduation, and after that, whatever. It's not like Europe or like other countries where 3 or 4, uh, people just in your small circle of friends already have two languages under their belt, whether it be
Uh,
Swedish, Finnish, Dutch, Deutsch, German, all of those different like German languages, Germanic languages, or
hmm
French or Slovakian, Romanian, or whatever. So it's cool that it's good and cool that your parents told you to keep that up. So that has been proved beneficial for you, I guess, at this point in your life.
Yeah, I mean, I graduated high school same year you did, I remember, and that same year, I was in Career Center learning computers, learning how to repair computers, and I right out of high school, I started working in my field in IT because the organization that picked me up wanted somebody who spoke Spanish and knew about computers. And they said, wait, as long as you know Spanish and you know a little bit about computers, we'll train you the rest of the way. But they were desperate for somebody. They would grab people from their sales department to come in and translate whenever they had computer problems in their facilities in Mexico, in Argentina. And they just, there's these individuals who speak Spanish, doing the interpreting, but they don't know anything about computers. So in trying to get them from their busy schedule to help the IT department out was really a pain. So yeah, they really needed me, and because of that, and I thank my parents 100% for that. They're responsible. So thank you, mom and dad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to mom, shout out to dad. Uh, that's awesome. That's still very, not that like it wouldn't be cool. No, it's still uh, cool and instrumental for you. Now you say you work in IT, coming straight out of high school into college, LCC. It's Lansing Community College for those who don't know, in Lansing, Michigan. Uh, so you stayed with them since then. Have you moved on to a different job, career field?
No,
Where?
I've been with them for 10 years now. Actually,
Nice.
I've held how many positions? One, two, three, four. This is my fourth. I'm in my fourth position with them.
All
They've been a
right.
great organization because most companies, it's like if you want to move up, you move to another company and then you get a different title and then you move back or you go somewhere else. But these people have been very graceful. So I've been learning and growing there for the past 10 years. I got my plaque for 10 years back in April. So
Hey.
yeah, I've been doing well with them, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So very grateful for that company. They have a very family oriented mindset. They believe family comes first. So grateful to them for that, and gonna continue working hard for them.
Nice. Cool. Um, so if we had talked before, and you have mentioned how you went overseas to do job
Mhm.
training. But what is so you work in IT department, but what do you exactly do in IT?
So in those times, during those times, I was a technical specialist. So basically, what it was PC repair and other type of peripherals, computer peripherals. What we would do is there are certain factories that report to headquarters, and some have IT personnel, some don't. And the ones that have IT personnel, we would travel to them to those sites, and we would train them on our standard because we're very meticulous about doing things our way. And those sites who don't have an IT personnel, maybe they have an electrician that helps us out, or contacts, we'd help them out and we train them and say, if this happens, you call us. But while we're there, we're doing PC work. We're helping out. We're swapping out systems, doing that kind of stuff. So cleaning up the network closet, just being on the hands-on IT guys at those factories. So that's what was happening there.
Nice. All right.
Mhm.
So now has that position been the same since then, or that was what you had then and now?
I did it for 6 years. I did it for 6 years, and I enjoyed it. But then I was like, okay, time to look at something else because if not, if anybody else reads my resume, they're not gonna like, oh, you've been in that company for 20 years and doing the same thing. So I moved to what is called systems engineering, and it's more managing the infrastructure, managing the servers, and that was good for some time. But I miss doing traveling, the customer service, because this is more out in the background. So now I moved to a another position that is called collaboration, and basically what it is, mostly like dealing with conference rooms and dealing with individuals, training individuals how to use conference rooms, and training individuals on Microsoft Teams, and as well as supporting Microsoft Teams. Any type of technology that has to do with conferencing or video calls we deal with there. So and different factories, same thing, have different conference rooms, and we support those as well. We install those as well. So I'm back on to traveling again. Not as much as I used to, but a little here and there. So
I can imagine it was pretty like busy and difficult for you during the pandemic time, when everyone was like switching to just doing conferences. How difficult was it to train people who were like 50 years old and it's kind of like, okay, this is a mouse?
well, luckily, I just got this position back in back or during March of this past year.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sorry, of this year. Of this year. So during the pandemic, I was doing the systems engineering position, which was great because I did everything from home and didn't have to come in nearly as much. I would come in, do a few things. We have to do some things in a place called data center. That's where all your servers and all your infrastructure lives. But other than that, it was mostly just working from home, and I felt it was more efficient with that position working from home than I was in the office.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then now this is the post. Well, we're still in COVID times, but I mean, people know what it is. So, uh, is it still difficult training people to learn how to use computer systems now, or is it
No,
like,
they're pretty simple systems. So I mean, once you teach it, you once you know how to teach it, the individual learns it pretty well. So yeah, it's not crazy difficult. We're not teaching rocket science here. So
yeah, yeah, just how to get to rocket science? No, no, no.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
No, that's cool. Uh, all right, all right. I had a question on something, and I kind of left it out now, but no worries about it. Uh, so you've done some traveling. Um, you've traveled where, I guess?
So in the States, I've been to Washington State, California, Texas, been to Georgia, spent a lot of time in Georgia, done a lot of time in North Carolina. Also, once in a while, I went to Kentucky, spent a lot of time in Chicago, Illinois. And then there was another town in Illinois called North Aurora. It's like an hour west there. Very interesting town. Spent some time there. Also been to our site in Ada, Oklahoma. And what other site have I been to inside the States? Well, I'll keep thinking about. Oh, into Pennsylvania as well. And I just recently got back from our site in Maryland. So uh, been there. I've also been to Toronto, to the SAR site in Toronto, and I've been to Mexico. Been to both our sites in Mexico. One's in Tijuana, it's in the border of California, and also to the one that's like 2 hours west of Mexico City, so it's more deep in the country. Also, we had factories in Brazil and Argentina, so I've been to those two as well, but unfortunately they're no longer around. And also went to a couple of their sites in the UK. So that's been all I can remember. So yeah.
A lot. I'm sure you got some like the mileage club is you're part of that. It's all the flying around. For Georgia, did you like get any Georgia peaches?
I didn't know that was a thing.
I think it's a thing, like a Georgia peach or something. I don't know. If you're not, no worries. I never have it, so I was just wondering if you had the opportunity or whatever.
No, I
So,
did see like I was in a town about a few minutes away from Macon, Georgia. I know Macon is pretty famous. I think that's also where they did the Living Dead or something. I don't know. So
hmm,
scary show or something. I don't know. But
yeah.
yeah, it
You
was
mean The
it was
Walking
funny
Dead?
though. The Walking Dead.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I like there's Night
Uh,
of the Living Dead. That's a movie. But
Oh
if you
yeah.
meant the show, yeah, it's The Walking Dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they did. I don't know. I don't remember something about dead people, but walking or something.
Zombies. Yeah, yeah.
Zombies. Yeah, no, I did that. It's funny because our site there in Thomaston, though, it's like you go there, it's so deep in the woods, you feel like you're in a scary movie, and it took like 30 minutes to get there every day, but there was no freeway around there. It was just like just
Oof.
driving and driving, and the deeper you go, the scarier it gets. So.
It's not not welcoming. Does not make me want to go to Georgia whatsoever.
Oh, you never been to Atlanta?
Nah. Actually, no.
Oh,
I've flown
you're like,
into it for a layover when I was going from or to South Carolina. I'm not familiar, not remembering,
oh, okay.
but that was it. It was just like a right off the airport, stay there and wait for the next plane.
Oh man, dude, if you ever go to Georgia, I mean to Atlanta, check out the aquarium there
Okay.
because it is the best aquarium I've ever been in. I've been to quite a few, but it is awesome. You don't have to like aquariums or museums or whatever, like I'm sure you do, but you know, it it is it is awesome. It is pretty freaking awesome.
Okay.
Oh, I
I'll
mean, you
take your
see
word for
sharks
it.
there. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you could even, if you ever, find a crazy cheap flight, you could probably head over there for a weekend, stay at a hotel near the airport, and you don't even have to drive there. You just take the train everywhere.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, Atlanta's a pretty cool city. I prefer not to drive there. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I definitely would fly. I miss cheap flights though. So
Right.
that's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
part is like I miss those cheap flights because I remember I was able to get flights. I went to Florida one time, bought myself a plane ticket to visit a friend, and my flight wasn't more than $200. Right, like it was. I don't even remember when it was. It was probably in summer. I don't know. I had to look back on whether
Was
Google
it during the
track.
pandemic?
No, it was years ago. It was
Oh.
like
Oh. Okay.
2015. So yeah, I took a flight to Florida, visit a friend, hang out, and had a blast. And yeah, my flight was like $200 or less. And then when I went to South Carolina to go visit them, uh, same person, um, and it was about maybe 250, maybe. But like from 2015 to 2020 before the pandemic, it was like 250. Now,
Huh.
yeah, now flights are like a little more expensive and or they may get delayed. So it's like, I
Uh,
don't. Yeah.
Dude, we gotta go to Japan, man. We talked about that. We,
Oh yeah. No, I know a
we
guy in
gotta.
Japan. So if we ever need to go somewhere, I'm hitting him up. Be like, hey, let's where we want to go to Japan. I also need to get my passport. So that's the one thing I gotta do for myself. Since I'm not born in Michigan. I was born in Missouri.
Uh-huh.
Um, my birth certificate, I had to contact. I guess Missouri goes through this tertiary way where you can pay a fee to get like some records of your birth, and then they'll mail it to you. So I got that, but I got to do the rest of the way of applying for a passport here in Michigan. I think it's like $120 total or stuff. So I'm just biding my time with it, really. Anyways, but yeah, it's dumb that Missouri does that, but it is what it is.
That's funny.
Yeah. So you went to Mexico City and Tijuana.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Tijuana and Mexico City? Because Tijuana's like not in the middle of Mexico, so I'm sure
Right.
there's like a big difference in how. Am I
It
right or wrong?
it's like yeah, kind of. So in Tijuana is a very industrial city. It's been known in the past. It's been known as a drug town just because
Oh.
since it's in the border of the U.S. and it's still drugs are still trafficked there and there's still fights between gangbangers and cartel and that kind of people. But it has improved, definitely has improved as a city, and it's become very industrial. Not only American companies start factories there, but Germans try to, come in and start their own facilities there. And a lot of people from other parts of Mexico move to Tijuana because their life improves when they move there. They're able to buy a cell phone, buy a car, or or just start working. And so it's a very interesting town. It's not really like the prettiest town in Mexico, not gonna lie, but it's a because it's a very industrial town, But still, the hospitality there though is awesome. People I've met there were great, great individuals. So as far as Mexico City goes, I mostly just landed in Mexico City. The town I stayed at was like 2 hours west of it. It's called Atlacomulco, and it's a very small town in Mexico standards. To us, would be a mid-sized town, but to them, it's a small town because it's like 19,000 people, and to us, we're like, oh, that's not that small, but to them, it is. So
19,000 people is pretty small. So yeah, I would consider
yeah,
that like a small town. I would think because we have like what DeWitt and Holt, and
yeah,
then we have like St. John's and Owasso, where their population isn't more than 100,000. So I think
you're right, you're
Lansing's
right.
like 170,000 people, and Grand Rapids is like 200 to 300,000. Detroit's like 700,000.
Oh,
So
well.
yeah, no, 19 is still small though,
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
well, it is a small town, but like it's very, it very much looks like the stereotypical Mexican village, and very very calm town. Just not nice place to walk to through their downtown area. So I just thought it was pretty. It's a pretty town. And out it's a lot of mountains there too. Very mountainy. It's actually a very cold town. Because when I looked at the weather, I was like, okay, what's the weather gonna be like? It's like 50 degrees. I'm like, I can handle it. So I didn't bring a coat with me. And I was like, then I got there. I was like, oh my gosh, it's freaking cold. I need something to protect me. So went to a marketplace. People set up their little tents, and I negotiated with someone. They looked at me, thought I had money, so they started. They were selling a hoodie, and they
Right,
raised the
they went
price so
here,
high.
and you're
Yeah,
like, no, 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 no. We need to go
yeah,
back to here.
exactly. So yeah, but it was cool, man. It was cool going there. I went there to that plant a couple times. The Tijuana plant though, I went there four different times. So, but yeah, love the time I spent there in Mexico, and I love working at the site too because a lot of folks who visit different countries they look at the touristy area of it, and I feel like I was working with the blue collar folk right next to them, and I got to know them, and I feel like I really got to know people during this trip, and that's something that a lot of folks miss out when they do resorts or if they just have a all inclusive vacation. But yeah, it's just really really enjoyed time there.
Right. No, I think that's a very accurate assumption, if not very based in fact, because of like yeah, those tourist areas are nice, and they're for tourists, they're for people who don't want to venture into too more to get to really know what the culture is like. They just want to like their Instagram or their Facebook post of it, their Twitter updating.
Right.
Um, no, it's nice. You get to really like sit down with people who are from there who are like, yeah, I this is my livelihood. This is my life here. What's it like exactly in terms of haggling for prices? Because here, yeah, we don't have to haggle for prices. It's like, no, that's what you pay. There's nothing. That's it, and you don't get to know what how that price was determined. It's like this is it. It's the price.
Right. I mean, it's common, and you see this in many underdeveloped countries, even some developed countries, like my own. You see people set up tents and set up their own shop, and it's those shops that you can actually negotiate the price because usually either they're their own supplier or the supplier sells them really cheap, and they usually raise the price up anyway. So usually you notice that they don't have any price tags on them. So you ask the person, how much is it? And the person usually that runs the shop is usually looking at you and judging whether you have money or not. And if you have money, if you look like a person that has money, they're gonna raise the price. If you look poor, they're gonna lower the price. So techniques that I've learned talking to my parents, they always say, don't ever play what they say. This is what it's gonna be. So I always go lower, and then they're like, okay, we'll meet somewhere in the middle. So it's funny. It was pretty hardcore. I went when I was in that town close by Mexico City. I went to some ruins, the ruins of Teotihuacan, in it's like an hour east of there. This pre-Aztec civilization that people don't know how it disappeared, and went up there, and I was not used to the elevation because Mexico, the state of Mexico, is way above sea level, and here in Michigan, we're like almost touching sea level, and so
If
we
not
went
one or
up.
2 feet right below.
Exactly, yeah. Like, so we were going up a pyramid, and the guy who was with me, he had been living there for 3 or 4 months. Crazy story about him, but he was walking up the pyramid, the biggest pyramid, and up the stairs, and I was trying to keep up with him, and I was then like kneeling because I was out of breath, and holding on to rope there, trying to climb up the stairs. And he's making fun of me. He's like, "Look, that old woman is beating you, and she's walking up the stairs like nothing." I was like, "Man, I'm dying, man." You know? And I get up there, and I'm walking around, but I just feel nauseous the whole time. It wasn't a good feeling,
Oh man.
But I mentioned that because I went down. We went downstairs after that, and then we started negotiating with somebody. Let's see if I still have it. I was negotiating for this. Okay, this is made of stone.
Oh yeah, stone and pestle, or mortar and
Yeah.
pestle. Yeah.
So yeah, and they use this. This isn't real, but I mean, they use this for to grind the corn. So there was this woman there, and she was selling it, and we were negotiating. I was like saying something like, "I'll take it for 250 pesos," and she was like, "Nah, it's like the most I can lower is for 400 pesos." And I'm like, "Okay, never mind. I don't want anything. Bye." And then she's like, "Wait, wait, no, no, take it, take it." And she's like, it's good, and and enjoy things because you need to enjoy things because money comes and goes, but things stay around, something like that. Something stupid, but but I was getting really hardcore with her, like, either you give it to me for the price I want, or I'm out of here because I know you're ripping me off anyway. So,
Nice.
yeah, I was happy after that. I was like, I got her, man. Yeah. So,
No, how much is 250 pesos to American dollars? In my head,
oh man.
I
So
thought it was
like
like, yeah, go ahead.
back then it was like $13 to 13 pesos to a dollar, 13 pesos to a dollar. So now I think it's up to 20 pesos for a dollar. So it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about, I'll let you know. I know I don't do I don't do
It's like
math in
what,
my head. So
$10 to $11?
yeah, it was about 250 divided by 13.
I mean, I wasn't gonna
About
do the
20,
math.
20 bucks. 20
$20.
bucks.
Okay,
Yeah, I paid about 20 bucks for this. And she
seems
wanted
about right.
about 25 to $30. And yeah, so I know that they probably related to whoever supplied these things to her. So yeah, I did not have a problem negotiating with her.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I have my own. It's stone and pestle, right? Or pedal, or
I don't know. I know it's the
I don't know.
molcajete.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Google it.
Yep.
Molcajete.
Mocajete. Got it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna look for it right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna know how it's spelled whatsoever.
I'll send it to you later. I'll send it to
Cool.
you later.
No, I have one that's similar to that in terms. It's just grind or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I use it from like herbs and spices for putting into my steaks, which I'm kind of hungry, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm thinking about doing that by buying a steak and just put some seasonings into it. Um, so Mexico City, Tijuana, the city just outside of Mexico City. How was Brazil?
Brazil was
Yeah.
awesome, man. It was lush green country. People are so nice there. So in the city of Sao Paulo, the one we landed in is humongous. You just do not know how big it is until you get there. And I mean, you're just looking at skyscraper after skyscraper as far as the eye can see.
Oh my
So
goodness.
yeah, it was awesome, and the food there, oh man, just awesome. Just everything was great. It's funny, the IT guy from Tijuana came with me on this trip, and he enjoyed himself very much. He had a lot of fun. We went to Rio on the weekend, and that was great. It was about 3 hours away from where we were. We were in the town of Pindamonhangaba, and that's it was actually a pretty small town as well.
Nineteen
But
thousand people, 20,000.
I don't know, man. I would have to guess maybe 19,000, maybe 20,000, maybe a little more, maybe a
Yeah.
little more.
Okay.
But yeah, even just the downtown area, the shops, everything was cool. We were looking for some parts or some computer parts, and we went to the local IT shops, and we were able to find everything. So, I'm cool with that. Cool with that. The way back, the flight back was interesting, though. The flight back was very interesting. I was on the plane and we're ready to go. And I'm like, everything that we needed to get done, we got done. And I was so satisfied. We were on the runway, getting ready to leave. Then I just hear this voice up back, like with the Eastern European accent. And he's like, I know what I'm doing. I fly a lot. I know what I'm doing. And then, okay, didn't think much of it. The plane stops on the runway and said the captain comes on saying that I'm sorry, we're gonna have to delay this flight because somebody is acting up and we need to ask him to leave the flight. And everyone's like, oh no! And so they turn the lights on, and there's this kid about 14 or 15, and he seems to be arguing with everybody, and everyone's getting angry at him. And apparently, he was putting his feet up on the other person's lap, right next to him, the person right next to him, and they're telling him, "Hey, please don't do that." And he's like, "I know what I'm doing. I fly a lot. I do this." And so everyone picks up his Eastern European accent and starts yelling at him because Brazilians, they know a lot of them know English, man. They know just enough to be dangerous. So they're screaming, "Get out, the Russian! Get out!" He's like, "I'm not leaving. I'm staying here. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere." And so the thing is, they couldn't grab him and pull him out of the flight. They couldn't kick him out of the plane because what if they grab him and while they're dragging him out? What if he starts kicking people? Somebody gets kicked in the head, they get injured, they have to sue the airline. And so we were in the runway. I'm not gonna lie, for about an hour because we were waiting for the police to get there. And I don't understand what took the police so long. I know Brazilian police, if they're dancing the samba or drinking coffee on their way to the job, but they took like an hour to get there. And the whole time, everyone's arguing with this guy, and he was getting angry. He started recording people. People started recording him, and he's like, "Oh, you record me? I'll record you too. I'll record you too. Look at me!" And he grabbed
Oh
his
my
phone, started
goodness.
recording people, and then everyone's still screaming at him, "Get out, Russian!" And it gets in his head. He's like, "I'm not Russian. I'm United States of America." And everyone starts screaming, "Oh, I don't know. They don't have boo down there. They have like a, I don't know what they were doing there, but oh man. So
That didn't help at
our
all.
it did not help. And everyone's like, and there's this girl, she's crying, and they're like, "Why is
Oh,
she crying?" She's like, "Oh, she's saying that she hasn't seen her sister in 3 years, and she's not going to be able to see her." And like, "Don't worry, we'll take off, we'll take off." Um, we had to exit. We had to empty out the plane because once the police finally got there, we had to empty out the plane because we wanted it to be safe for somebody to pull them out. Pull that person out, and we can continue on our way there. So luckily, we had a very good. I had a very good layover. I mean, like I gave myself like 4 hours of a layover in Atlanta, and I gave my boy like 5 hours for that same layover, so he could go back to Tijuana. So I was all right, but everyone else had a really bad time because a lot of people just lost their connections. Most of those folks were heading to Florida, but they had their flight to Atlanta first, and they were gonna do a layover there. Then they were gonna fly over to Florida, but it was bad for everyone.
my goodness.
But It was interesting. I have a story to tell now. I was scared, man. I was like, "What's gonna happen? Are they gonna fight? What's up?" But now I can just look back and laugh at it.
So this guy was like 14. He's just a kid.
Yeah, I was just a kid, and his dad was on the plane with him.
I'm so. I have more questions. Obviously, you're not gonna be able to answer them, but it's like it's to the dude and his father. Like, yo, what? Why? Why do we need to do this? This is supposed to be a good time. Um,
Right, no, and I think the pilot kept talking to the father, and the dad just kept shaking his head, like, oh, like, I'm not gonna do anything, you know.
oh man, no,
I
it's
don't know if he
sad.
was drunk or what. I think it was drunk. I think it must have been alcohol involved or something. But
Could have been a little bit of both, but that's still kind of crazy. Um,
yeah,
Rio, Sao Paulo, is it?
Apollo is the city where we landed and took off from. Rio is about 3 hours away from there.
Yeah.
I think east, northeast. Yeah, there's the Copacabana beach that you've heard of. Probably it's a famous beach in Rio.
No.
And oh, okay, yeah, it's a famous beach. Yeah.
All right,
So
cool. I just know
yeah,
Rio.
I was walking around there, and it's funny because everyone there was wearing sandals and shorts, and I had jeans and tennis shoes on because, you know, I just didn't want. I don't know why I didn't want to put shorts on. I don't want to show my hairy legs, and I don't wear sandals. I just don't like open toe shoes. Don't like them. You can't force me to wear them. You know, you can't pay me enough to wear them. So, and everyone's just staring at me. Like, what's up with that guy? You know?
I mean, yeah, you're on a beach and you're in jeans and shoes, tennis shoes. So yeah.
Yes.
Fair, fair.
Uh,
Uh, no, that's cool. And you went to a couple places in Europe, you said.
Yeah, well, I went to the two plants in the UK, and yeah, first place I went to was where was this? It was dang it, Huntingtonville. Yeah, Huntington. Yeah, I was disappointed in my first UK trip because
Oh,
again, it was another small town, and the more you drove, the all you saw was trees, you know, and like what the heck, and trying to find a good place to eat was tough.
really?
So yeah, just because it was out in the middle of nowhere,
Oh, okay, okay.
and the people living there knew that because we were the place we had the hotel we stayed at. It was like five of us who went there from the company, and the breakfast was good. And we were telling them, hey, it's our first place, the first time in England, and they were like, and you chose here? Like, why would you come here? You know?
Like, tell me
But
of a better place.
so the second time I went, it was for second and third time were much better because we stayed in Birmingham.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was much better town. It was you could walk everywhere. Everything you needed was right there. So and Birmingham's a very good looking, very beautiful town. So one of the times I was there, working at the factory, my coworker and I, who's also from here, he's from the States, we decided to go find a place to eat. So we just headed out for lunch, went to a pub, picked any pub, random pub, just went there and I started eating something called the British ale pie. It's like a chicken pot pie, but it's really good. I haven't been
Hmm.
able to find it here in the States. Really good stuff. And always I always had hot tea. Nice thing about England, you don't have to say I want hot tea. You can just say I want tea, and they automatically bring tea, hot tea. So, uh, but I was sitting there, and he was sitting in front of me, and we were eating, and then I just heard people come in. I didn't see them. He saw them, and what I heard, I heard someone sit down right behind us, and I heard someone else coming up to them, to that person who sat down, and he says to I guess he says to his wife, "Did Dad talk to me?" And the lady is like, "Oh, I just wanted to see if you're right." And he says, "Let me be." And she walks away, and I'm looking at my boy like, "What's going on?" And he's laughing his head off. Like, what just happened here? You know, did we have a Shakespeare play right behind us? You know, we didn't have to pay for that. So it's like so much different from here in the States. You know, here you hear old people fighting. I saw like an old couple fighting because the old man was in front of a Best Buy Mobile. You know, and and his wife yells from out from the middle of nowhere, like, "Hey, Lee, what are you buying?" And he's like, "Nothing." She says, "You don't have to yell." He says, "Yeah, you don't either." He says, "You can't hear me very well." So, that's how we fight in America, man. But out there, it's like, "Don't talk to me. Don't speak in my direction." You know. So, that was a very interesting time there.
Yeah. No, it's funny with the accents you're putting it to. I can almost picture it.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
it
it
was
is.
great, man.
That is just kind of like America, just noticing things from like outside of a parking lot of Best Buy or something crazy like that. Uh,
Yeah.
no, it's funny. So, out of all the places you've gone to and visited, what is like your top three places? I guess.
Well, I like Birmingham,
Hmm.
and I liked Rio. And another one that I haven't mentioned because it had nothing to do with work was I went back to my home country a couple times in the
Okay.
past 6 or 7 years. I've been back there. So I really enjoyed going. I really enjoy going back to my home country. And it's changed a lot from when I was growing up. It's a lot. The city has grown. I'm from the capital city of Guatemala, or Guatemala City. It's the capital of the country, and it's just grown a lot. And we've been to different parts of Guatemala, and I've enjoyed that. So definitely those would be my top three outside the states. So.
Yeah. What is Guatemala City like? I guess compared to cities here in Michigan and the states.
So, if you look all over Latin America, you'll see a pattern. You'll see a pattern that every place that the Spanish colonized, you'll see one capital city that's really big, and the rest of the outskirts are just out in the boonies, out country, and you'll see a large population of people move to that one city, and while the rest of the country stays relatively low. I mean, not a whole lot of folks there, not a whole lot of people there. So Guatemala City is very metropolitan. It's a very big city. It's got almost every restaurant, every food chain that you can think of here in the States. And it just keeps growing. It just keeps growing. It's just big. And major differences. You'll see a lot more poor areas there. And I guess you see poor areas in cities here, but you see a lot more often there. Also, the infrastructure, it keeps growing, but at the same time, folks there, they drive like it's the Wild West. They drive like any way they want. So driving, and you'll see this in Guatemala or in any other big capital city in Latin America. Driving there is a nightmare. So I never drive there. I always have someone else who is familiar with the roads there drive. So, but here in the States, you'll find like okay pockets. You'll find different cities. You'll see Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids. You'll see okay outside of Lansing, you see small towns. In Detroit, outside of Detroit, you might see some small towns. You see the suburbs. You see some small towns. It's just different like that in almost every Latin American country. You just have one big capital city, and folks from the outskirts moving there, and the rest of the country it doesn't have that as much urbanization. So
Interesting. Yeah. Nothing. Not something I would have thought of. I would have. I guess I don't know. I would personally think that there'd be more than one large city that was kind of like the central point or something like yeah. Because here in Michigan we have a lot of cities, and yeah, we have small towns, but to imagine there just being one major one and then just a bunch of small towns is kind of interesting. It's interesting. Um, so that's what Guatemala is like. What's McDonald's like? I guess in a bunch of these other places. Is it as cool and diverse as we've been told?
yeah, I mean, actually, Guatemala. This is funny. It's in a restaurant in Guatemala that they came up with the Happy Meal. It was Guatemalans who invented the Happy Meal.
Oh,
So,
all right.
yeah, and there is one McDonald's there that is shaped like a Happy Meal box because they're the ones who invented it. So, um, but yeah, so the ingredients are I guess I mean like the menu's almost the same, but they might
Okay.
have different ingredients to it. One thing I noticed, I told you that my brother convinced me to go to Germany with him once,
Yeah.
and we went to the McDonald's there. One thing that I noticed is it's a lot healthier than the McDonald's here, and I just you don't feel like somebody kicked you in the stomach after you're done eating McDonald's. So
Yeah. The stomach and the wallet.
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, the thing is, and this is something very interesting, there is a chemical, and you can look this up. I don't remember the name of it, but there's like a chemical that they add to white bread here in America that is illegal in Canada and in the rest of Europe. In UK and Europe and Canada, it's illegal, but it's legal here in the States. And white bread isn't everything, especially McDonald's. So, I mean, that might be the big difference when you go overseas and eat McDonald's somewhere else as opposed to in America. So,
Hmm. I'm looking for it. Hmm. Because it's is it the bleaching? Is it through the bleaching process? Is what it
yeah,
is?
yeah,
Okay.
it makes it whiter. So if it's whiter, it looks more attractive, looks more fresh, like it looks tasty. But it's not legal in different parts of the world. It's legal here. So that's why I don't eat white bread.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at it, and Wikipedia says the use of chemicals like potassium, bromate, dicarbonamide, or chlorine dioxide gas. And I'm like, oh, we're
Yeah.
gassing our bread. Oh,
Yes,
that's probably
sir.
why it's not legal in other countries and Germany. that's that's not nice to see.
I stay away from McDonald's here, man. Which
Nah,
is
I've
ironic because
definitely
this is where it's from. But
right, right. Nah, I've definitely will. Now I don't want to have any type of white bread, period, and I will start questioning all the bread I get. I mean, I don't like. I usually get wheat or honey oat or something. But now I'm wondering, like, maybe they might do the same processes to like make the wheat a little less wheaty. I don't know, a little less brown.
it's hard, man. It's hard because you go to the grocery store and organic stuff, or organic bread's just more expensive than the regular bread. And
Right.
in the regular bread, they make it look nice because they say something like fresh or 100% this, that, or has all these multivitamins, but it's really not that good for you. So,
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look more into it because there's you can definitely eat healthier on a cheaper, more efficient, financial ways in cheaper and more efficient financial ways. But I haven't really like dived much into it as much as I would love to. Uh, but I know there's just ways to do it. I kind of just go to Aldi's for now for some of my stuff, just because Aldi's is pretty inexpensive. Like I bought a bunch of sandwich making stuff just so I can just make myself some sandwiches um, for lunch, and yeah, it was pretty inexpensive. I'm happy with it. I got a lot of bread for the price, so but it's also wheat. It's not white.
good
But I
man.
also still wonder, like, maybe there's a little bit of some leftover chlorine dioxide gas in there.
Right.
Right. That's terrible. Yeah, no, I see why it's illegal in a lot of other places. The so here in Michigan, you've been stationed here. Do you have any plans to like continue with this company further along the route, or like what's your I guess next goals with this company? Like,
Yeah, I'm just gonna continue for a while and see where it goes from here. But one of the things that I want to try to do is try to get them to partner with other organizations that are nonprofit and want to try to help out. If they can't, I'll just do it myself. There's this organization in was it Wisconsin? I think it's in Wisconsin. Yeah, that what they do is they receive donated computers, they refurbish them, and they go to underdeveloped countries and they install them. And that just sounds like in my line of work and something that I would like to do. In even if it takes like, okay, I'll take a week off work and do it myself. But yeah, that's what I guess that's my goal at some point in the future is to be a part of a nonprofit that does that kind of stuff. We're talking way in the future, you know. So right now I need money. When hopefully someday maybe I won't need that much money, I might be able to be a partner with an organization like that.
Yeah, no, that's actually really cool. If not, even create your own
Right.
nonprofit and basically just get in contact with sponsors, have a grant writer to, write you up a grant, fill out that application form, whatever, send it out, receive money, and then pretty much just communicate with any official on the ground in whatever, country, and just say, hey, I got some computers coming through, it's on the plane, you know. Yeah.
Right. Right. No, this organization is pretty cool. They sent me a message. They said that because I was just contacting them, they said they had just delivered 70 computers in Liberia.
Wow.
And so these students that now they can use it as their resources, you know, and also they've done stuff in Guatemala as well and in Mexico, and they just continue to expand themselves. So computers are really strong. Like computers that we've had for 3 or 4 years that we're like, oh, we don't need this anymore. It's old. Once you refurbish it, once you reinstall the operating system and clean them up real good, they're good for a while, man. They're good. There's a computer that it was a Microsoft Surface laptop that I had. I bought it sometime around 2014, and my mom still uses it. So, we just, whenever I needed to wipe it, clean it up, I did that, and it still works. She just goes online, listens to a few things, and they still work. So, I think a lot of the computers that we have that people throw away, they can be used elsewhere easily. So,
Hmm. I got a laptop that maybe you could look at. Who knows? But no, I have also because I've seen people have their phones too, and
mhm.
it's like throw your phones here or donate your phones here. We'll take care of them. Is that something similar as well, where it can be refurbished and
Oh yeah,
okay,
yeah, man. I mean, it's like I think the screen size would be the biggest thing, but like uh, the processing power in those phones are very powerful. Even your old phones, they have a lot of processing power. They can be used for different sorts of things. I just hope nobody throws them in the trash because you're wasting a lot of processing power and just throwing it in the garbage. So yeah, a lot of that stuff can be reused, especially right now during the with the chip shortage.
yeah,
And so like a lot of, I feel like we're sitting on a gold mine of microprocessors and we're like, oh, we need the newest ones, the most brand new ones, and we need them right now. And I mean, it's necessary to a certain degree, but it's like, we already have a lot of processing power as is. Why can't we recycle what we have? So,
for sure. No, that makes sense. Um, yeah, if you create that LLC or whatever, or find a nonprofit, let me know. I have a couple phones to drop off to you, some old boys. I was literally thinking the other day about my first phone, which was a Nokia, and it was white, and the special feature on it was that the top of it can have a flashlight without powering the phone on. So
oh,
I was like, oh. And I was just thinking about that. I'm like, that was kind of cool. Yeah, you double click the power button and the flashlight turns on the phone without it being powered on, and that was a special feature for it. Uh,
oh man,
yeah,
how long did the battery last on that? Like, I'm sure you go days without charging it.
I'm sure I did. It was a minute phone, so I had like maybe 300 minutes a month, or you load it up
Yeah.
with minutes. I don't remember exactly, but it was fun. I had Snake on it. I was playing with the
Oh.
Snake game, and I got pretty far in it. Had like a high score, so there's that. But yeah, now I don't know what happened to that phone since then. I'm sure no one knew about donating old phone equipment like that, so I'm sure we threw it away since
We're in a
then.
landfill, man.
Of course, it's a landfill somewhere, but also probably still works because
Yeah.
it's Nokia. They'll last forever, and even if you shoot them. So, um, no, it's cool. Yeah, I like that. I like the initiative and the drive to give back to the community. And I think that's something we all need to consider. If not, try to reach out to, especially when it comes to recycling old materials that we need to not just throw away, that we could still utilize.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I mean, we look in history in ancient times or even the medieval period, man, people didn't throw stuff away like we do today, you know. And yes, true, we didn't consume as much, but man, today it's just like we don't want something, especially here in America, you know. Uh, there was a study that showed that if the world consumed, the rest of the world consumed, like people here in the United States, we would need 5 planet Earths to fulfill that consumption process. You know, we just buy so much stuff, and then we're like, "Ah, I'm bored, I don't want it," and we just throw it away. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, and I know because like yeah, we're all products of that. I bought some stuff and I'm waiting on it coming through Amazon, but it's stuff that I actually will use. Like it's not like
Right.
I'm buying it and then we'll be throwing it away. So no, but it does make you think like trying to be more conscious about your carbon footprint in a sense. You're just kind of being more conscious about what you can do for recycling. So now I used to just not recycle.
Well, recycle's pretty good. I mean,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
If you have find a way to recycle, yeah. And make sure that they are recycling though, because I've heard people that they throw like, they segregate their recycling and their garbage,
Mm-hmm.
and then when the garbage man comes around, it looks like he's dumping it right in the front of the main garbage. Like, okay,
Uh,
you're just making me feel better. Is that it? You just whatever, just throw it in with the rest of the garbage.
for a little bit of change, you can feel good too.
Right. I mean, might as well just grab my trash can and paint a recycling like logo on it. Like, oh, I feel better now, man.
Right. As long as you throw it in that trash can and it says recycling, you're doing it. You're doing the work.
Right. Yeah.
You're
Oh, I say the planet,
yep.
man.
one garbage pail at a time of just garbage.
Right.
um yeah, so I'm trying to be more conscious on it too. My previous guest on here was mentioning how the same thing about being conscious about what you're buying in terms of clothing and attire, making sure that the clothes you wear are sustainable or come from sustainable companies or they use sustainable methods for
Mhm.
the cloth and the linen. And for me, that is a little more difficult to do because I was like, I'm not gonna like ask Target. So how do you pay like your workers, for this? Who do you where's your resources? Was the cow treated nicely before you skinned it for its skin? Like so. Those little questions and things but those things that I should still consider. Um, but also, I don't really shop crazy amounts anyway. Like I still have most of my clothes from high school that I'm trying to get rid of. I'm having a basket that I'm going to give to Salvation Army down the road.
That's the way to do it, man.
So
Somebody else is gonna use it. Somebody else is
yeah,
gonna use it. That's your way of making sure that things get used again or recycled. Don't, instead of throwing it in the trash because I don't want it anymore. Somebody else is gonna need it. So, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, so we're hitting about the hour mark now, and is there anything you want to add or just
One more story to
mention?
make you laugh.
Yeah, for sure.
We
Always.
stopped we stopped at a system in Waxahachie, Texas. They call it it's spelled Waxahachie, but everyone there calls it Waxahachie. I don't know why. You don't ever say I'm gonna drink a glass of water, but all right. But we're out in Waxahachie, Texas, and we're swapping out a system. This lady, we're switching her from Windows XP to Windows 7,
Oh,
and
that's a big change.
yeah, she was about retirement age, and we sought the system and she didn't like it. No, I don't like it. No. And it's like, come on, listen to me. We're gonna show you how to use this. It's like, no, no, I don't know. I just know it's different and I don't like it. Like, don't worry, you'll get used to it. It's just different. I don't like it. No. And she had like she took like 10 steps to do something, like to scan. So she would hit the start menu, go to all programs, go to accessories, hit Windows Explorer, type in the IP address of the scanner, and then she would scan something and it would show up. And so we're like, okay, we just create a little folder with a shortcut. Like, all you have to do is double click on it. And like, easy, easy. It's like, that's different. Like, yeah, it's different, but it's easier. And she's like, no. And we couldn't find her desktop picture. It was a horse. And she's like, "It's a prize-winning mare. You gotta get it for me." But yeah, that was our time in Waxahachie, Texas.
That's so strange that she went, yeah, and the extra 5 to 10 steps typed in the actual IP address of the scanner to get a scan. Like, I don't do that. I'm not gonna go an extra 5 steps to do that. I'm gonna find whatever else is. No.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's my closing story there.
All right, man. I appreciate it, as well as I hope you also have appreciate this hour we spent here listening to my friend Carlos talk to us about his career, his dream for the future, and his time in different cities across the world. I was gonna say states. I was like, that'd have been wrong because it's across the world. So no, thank you, Carlos. I appreciate it, man. This has been fun. We should do this again.
Sounds good, Alex. Good, glad to be here.
Yeah. All right, yo, guys. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Um, I am trying to put these out as often as possible. Obviously, it's not happening, but I'm okay with it because I kind of do this for fun anyway. Um, so yeah, I like it. Anyways, thanks for listening. All right, bye. And I almost forgot. Peace, love, and prosperity. All right, bye.